The scaffold is intended to mimic the natural trachea without its cells. So it has the porous structure of a decellularized natural trachea. And that becomes the place where the cells seed into, where they start to grow and become tissue rather than just cells.
So how exactly is the scaffold made?
The scaffold is made by a process called electrospinning, which is a novel process that allows you to create tiny, tiny, tiny fibers. So if you imagine a fishing line, that's roughly what the fiber looks like, but it's about 1,000 times smaller in diameter. And that's what the natural structure of your trachea is, and that's what cells feel comfortable with. So we have to create an environment for the cells that feels like home.
How long does that take, that process alone?
Well, it takes about 2 hours to actually spin the fibers onto a mandrel, which is the shape of the inside of the trachea. But in many ways, it's taken 25 years to get to this point where the technology is good enough to make something that can be implanted in a patient and actually treat their disease.
Once you've made this trachea, spun it, it goes into the bioreactor. What exactly is the bioreactor and what purpose does it serve?
We have a dry scaffold and we have a bag full of cells. And we have to get the cells from the bag into the fibers of the scaffold. So we have to wash them continuously over the scaffold, and that's what the bioreactor does. It enables the cells to get into the scaffold material. The other thing the bioreactor does is, because it's rotating, it's actually recreating the conditions of a baby breathing amniotic fluid in the womb. So before a baby is born, it's breathing amniotic fluid. It's not breathing air, obviously. You and I are breathing 15 times a minute. A baby breathes about 1 time a minute. And that's why you'll see the scaffold is rotated in the bioreactor 1 time per minute, because that creates shear stress, which is the stress of something rubbing. In this case, it's the liquid rubbing down the inside of the scaffold, and that is a cue to the bone marrow stem cells to start to become trachea. They start to change. They do not finish their transformation until after they're in the body.